Hey everybody, welcome back to Mel's Board Game Room. So today I'm going to be showing you the game Classified Information. So this game was sent to me last week. Me and Lee got to play it and I absolutely loved it. And I knew I would just from the deduction style of game that this is. But this is more than just a deduction. It's like, now I'm a big fan of like one versus one card game, and this is that as well. But then with the whole aspect of the deduction, I just thought it was an amazing game. So I've got it set up here. Let me show you the game. So this is a two-player game, and I've got it set up. Each player starts with two cards. I have my two cards here. And we also have our suitcase. And the goal is we're trying to decipher the other player's suitcase. And we want to make sure that we can try to get past the guards and open the suitcase by the end of the game. I just wanted to show you guys this because it comes, everything's in the pouch, but you also have the game kind of in this little, I don't know, it's very little, but it's, at first when I was opening it, I was like, oh my God, like there's no tab. How is it going to stay closed? But this is a magnetic close. And I thought that was such a clever little design. Now you could play this game with just this because you have all of the rules, all of the instructions directly in here. And you can keep the cards in here, and you would just use these decoder cards instead of the bigger ones that I have set up here. So that would work to play the game. But I have this, so I'm going to use this. Now, first thing we need to do is, this is the suitcase that I have. So I ignore pretty much everything. You can see the number here and you can see my code here. So the suitcase that I have is number 234. I'm actually going to take note of that on my code. So 234, this is the one that I have. Both of them are the same. So I'm just going to put like a little arrow on here, just something to indicate to me that this is my suitcase. So I know this. Now, that also means this, you know, obviously there's two of each cards. Obviously, well, I mean, like it could be, he could have the same suitcase as I do. Now, what are the other ones that I have? I also have 5, 6, 7, which is the one like this. So I can take, I think you can kind of take note the way you want, but I'm putting one line across on one side to show that this card is not his suitcase because it's in my hand. So I know that. Now I also have 3, 4, 5, the assassin card. So I find 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to write a line along the assassin side here to show that this I also know is not his card because this one also is in my hand. All right. So, and he would do the same with his cards. Then on my turn, what's going to happen is I'm first going to draw a card. And then I decide the actions I want to do. Now, in my hands right now, I have an assassin. This one is, I forget what the term is, but it can be played as both an assassin or as a guard. So it's up, like I can decide which way I want to use it. It's called a sentinels. So I could use it as a guard, or I could play as an assassin, and then I have another assassin. So on my turn, I have a few choices I can do. So I've drawn a card. First thing I could do is I can discard a card face up and use the ability that's on the card. And all the cards have different ability. This one makes it that I can choose one. I can exchange one of your guards with one of your opponent's guard, or top card of the discard pile. Or I can exchange this card with one of your guards and discard a card from your hand. So it just allows me to switch places. That's what this card is called. This one is extra protection. I can tuck. So it says play face up to your guard area and tuck one of your guards under extra protection. Extra protection must be assassinated first before the guard tucked underneath it may be assassinated. So it just gives extra steps that the other player would have to do in order to destroy my guard. And then I have this one, which is neutralize target. So flip an opponent's guard face up and or rearrange the discard pile and or secretly look at the bottom 2 cards of the draw deck. So just different things that I could decide I want to do with it. Now, I've kind of set it up so that the other player has a few things set up. So they do have 2 guards into play. You can have up to 3 guards in play on your side. Another thing I can do is play a card for its icon. So I could assassinate or attempt to assassinate the guard. Or I could decide to play this one as a guard and just put it face down and put up my own guard. So let's say I do that. Oh, you know, one thing I forgot to do is I got a new card. So I know that this one is also not into play. So I'm going to draw a line here, 7, 8, 9, because I know this card is not in play. So I've decided to place a guard. I'm going to skip next players. I kind of do it at a couple extra things. So they kind of had taken an extra couple turns. Then I'm going to take this one. Now I have a 9-1-2 and it's the assassin. So 9-1-2 assassin. So if I wanted to play a guard, I wouldn't have the option to do that right now. This one would be face down. So I'm going to hide my suitcase, but I wouldn't have the option to play a guard right now because I only have assassin. So let's do the assassin. Now, if I had a card that had flipped this one of their guard over, then I would have to play a card that matches what's in their hand. To do an assassin, now I'm doing an assassin attempt. So because of this one, because what does it say? I'm just kind of double checking on the rule book here. They're all described here. So it says attempt or carry out an assassination to cause your opponent to discard their guard. And this is important because in order to win the game, I need to be able to have a card that'll match their suitcase. But if they have a guard in the way that blocks the number that matches their suitcase, I don't get to decipher their suitcase. So it's good to try to get rid of the assassins. So when it's a face down guard, I'm going to do an assassin attempt. So what I'm going to need to do is, if I play your assassin card on the table and read each number contained in its code, the code is here. The number of the card is the upper one here, but we're looking at the code. So if any of the numbers in my code matches the code of the guard being targeted, then I was successful in assassinating it. If I'm not successful in assassinating it, then the way they kind of do it, like if you're not successful, you still are a pretty good assassin. So if you don't assassin, you still go home with some information. And in that case, I would get to see another card. They would have to show me one of their cards they have in their hand. So it's never a waste to assassinate. So let's say I'm going to do the assassinate with this one, and I'm going to attempt assassinate this guard here. So if there's in their code, they have a 9, a 1, or a 2, I was successful in my assassination. Let's see what they have. They have a 6, 7, and an 8. In this case, now I wouldn't see that. I'm showing it because, we're doing an example. So in this case, I was unsuccessful. So they would just say, no, you fail. And then they would show me one of their cards. This one would have to get discarded. So they would still see this card. So they would take note that 912 is not the card. And let's say they show me this one. So I now know that 4, 5, 6 shield is also not their suitcase. So that would go back to them, and then it'd be their turn. And then it'd be my turn again, so I would draw a card. Now, another thing I can do on my turn is I can encode, and I'm sorry, I forgot. You start with 2 encoded cards. So there's 2 cards that are discarded that we won't know what they are. So I got a new card. I would take note of it. 5, 6, 7. So that's my second 5, 6, 7 card. So I know that this one is really not the suitcase they have. So that's good information to know. I've eliminated one card potential from their suitcase. Now, another thing that I can do on my turn is I could take one of the card and encode it and just put it down so they won't ever get to see what this card is unless they have a card ability that kind of allows them to go and have a peek or something. They won't get to know. So I'm making it harder for them. Now, I'm also not utilizing the ability of the card, and I'm not utilizing the faction of the card. So I may want to concentrate on doing that when I know which card is theirs. Right now, I have no clue, and they have 2 guards. So even if I was successful, I would need a little bit more information. But so let's say that's what I did. And then it was my turn again, so I'm taking another card. 891 is something I can take note of. Okay, and this one has a react. So it says play immediately after a successful assassination to block it. On your next turn, draw if able. Skip your action, then peek. So it's just kind of a react thing that I can do. What am I going to do? I'm going to use my extra protection, and I would place this one over here. So now this guard, they can't come and assassinate this guard until they assassinate this top card first. So it provides me extra protection. Then I would get another card, and I have 789. Now this is my second 789. So I now know that this is not the card they have either. And what does this opponent do? Card do? So it says flip an opponent's guard face up and or rearrange the discard pile and or secretly look at the bottom 2 cards of the deck. You know what? I kind of want to be able to neutralize some of their guards. So let's say I flip this one face up. And now see that it has a 6, a 7, and an 8. Unfortunately, I don't have an assassin card that has... Do I? Oh, this one would. So I would draw another card. Let's say it's my turn again. It's just always my turn in this game. I now know they don't have that card. And then I can spend or use this one. Now remember, the blue one can be used either as a shield or an assassin. So I'm going to assassinate this card. And because this code matches that, one of the digit matches that code, I can then destroy that card. Now I also can take note that the 6, 7, 8 guard is also not into play because that was one of their guards. So then these 2 cards are discarded, and there's only one guard that they have in front of them. Now we're going to keep playing like this back and forth until we end up with one final card. So let's say I've taken this one. Did I send this one flying? I think I did. So I have 4, 5, 6. So I know it's not this one. And let's say I ended. Now, I have this one here that's 4, 5, 6. I know it's not this card, so I don't really want to try to keep this card at the end of the game, ideally, because I'm trying to get to match their suitcase. 1, 2, like 2 has potential on here. There's a couple of cards that has a 2 on it that would still be in play. So let's say I played, because you would play until this is all gone. So you would have only 2 cards left, and then you would play one more time. So let's say I play this card. Then that means I'm left with one final card. And then we're going to see if we were successful. So they would finish with one final card as well. So what we would do is we would reveal the suitcase. So they reveal their suitcase. Oh, man. All right. And then we would compare. So I want one of the codes, any number in here on in my final card. So 1, 2, or 3 ideally would be in their code 3, 4, 5. Now 3 is. So I could unlock their suitcase with my 3 as long as this guard doesn't block me. So if I flip this over, and it also has 1, 2, 3. So the 3 blocks is blocked by the guard, so I don't get to unravel, or get access to their suitcase. So I was unsuccessful. It's not an, I don't have an unguarded match. Now they would get to do the same. So their final number is a 7. There's my code and my final suitcase was 234. So they are also not successful. Now I did have a guard. The guard here had a 7, blocks this, but it doesn't matter because they didn't match anyways. So in this case, because we both did not match, then you would look at who had the most guards, and whoever had the most guards would win. Or if we have both matched, then it's whoever has the most guards wins as well. Then if one doesn't match, then the person who matched is the winner. I thought this game was so entertaining. And then you can also take note, because like I attacked the first time was a 3. So, and I could take like guard is not a 3. So I can take some notes on there, so I can try to figure out as well who their guard is, because I ideally want to get rid of their guard before my final turn. And you want to be careful with which guard you play and which guard you keep, because based on what's like, okay, well, I got a lot of 1s in play here still, then I might not want to spend that card if I think this is a card I want to keep for my final card to unlock the suitcase. This whole game was so cool. So that was classified information. I thought it was so interesting because yes, it's a deduction game, but you get that 1 versus 1. You're attacking, you're guarding, you're assassinating. The whole thing works so well. And I had such a great time playing this game. I thought it was a great 2-player game with the dry erase cards, and then kind of keeping track of all the information. Absolutely loved it. And it's such a small, compact game, and it plays fairly quick. So you could play multiple rounds at once if you wanted to. Okay, best out of 5. But so that was how classified information played. Be sure to check them out. I thought it was a really, really great game. I quite enjoyed it. And I hope you get to give it a try too. And if you did, please let me know what you think. Bye, everybody.